Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and this is Sewing with Hannah, a sewing series all about creating a handmade wardrobe that fits you and sharing all my tips and tricks for sewing. On today's episode of Sewing with Hannah, we're going to be working on the diagonal baste. That diagonal baste is, as it says, diagonal. It is used specifically for tailoring techniques, things like sewing on interfacing or horsehair. Now what you're going to need for this, as always, is your piece of muslin, your 8x4 piece of muslin, your ruler and tailor's chalk, your thread, a needle, and some scissors. Now, what I like to do is start by measuring. Now with this, since with a lot of other stitches you would just measure and mark a straight line, but with this you're going to mark 2 lines. So you start by just marking the straight line close to the top of the fabric. Now about like a 1/4 of an inch down. Mark. Just put a little mark right there so I know where to draw the other line. And you just mark it up. Now this is going to help you know the right length, so you're not going too far. You're keeping just an even diagonal stitch all across. Now then, you're going to grab your thread, and as always, you do an arm's length. Clip the thread. Don't forget when you're putting the thread right through the needle to tie it off. Oh, I keep on dropping it. Okay. And just pull tight. I always like to kind of pull the needle down to make sure it's tight enough, and then go on the edge and just tie it. Tie a nice knot. Okay. Now when you start on your back side of the fabric as normal, and you start with on the top stitch. The top line. So you insert your needle. Now what I like to do to make sure it stays diagonal, because sometimes when you're doing this, you can just be stitching just down and down instead of at a diagonal. So what I like to do is kind of pull the thread and put it past the bottom line, kind of where it meets that line. Put it through, so it creates that diagonal stitch. You can see there. Let me show it again. Go up at the top, mark the line, and then you'll hold your thread down. And I see. Hold it. As you're first starting to learn the stitch, that really does help keep that diagonal line. I know for me, when I was first doing these diagonal stitches, I kept on doing them just straight down, which was obviously not at a diagonal. So I remember my teacher actually told me to kind of mark it down with the thread so that you kind of know where to start and then know where to end. Now this, like I said, is really great for tailoring. I know a lot of people use these type of stitches when they're attaching the interfacing to the collar before they add any type of lining and stuff like that, since it really helps it stay in place, especially because it's covering more ground than just base stitch. So you just keep on going. So you see, it's just a nice diagonal stitch. Now, as always, you go all the way to the end. Now, for me, I have my little sample of one of my other hand stitches that we did. The even base, the uneven base, and now the diagonal. So you just kind of mark it underneath. There you go. You have your diagonal stitches. Good job.